Hey guys, it's Elizabeth, Countess of Low Carb, and on this episode, we're going to do 5 lessons that Mr. Rogers, Fred Rogers, taught us for the weight loss journey. If you would like to get my free keto diet meal plan, it's down in the description link below. Let's dive in. So I recently saw the new Mr. Rogers movie, the Won't You Be My Neighbor movie that just came out, and y'all, it was fabulous. I highly recommend it for my Countess review. It got 5 crowns out of 5 crowns. It was really a powerful, great movie, and it got me thinking about the tips that Mr. Rogers gave us for the weight loss journey. So let's dive in talking about tip number 1. In the movie with Fred Rogers, he talked about anything that is mentionable is manageable. Anything that is mentionable is manageable. And hello, on this 83 pound weight loss journey, I may not have mentioned it, but it definitely was there. Being obese, being overweight, and losing 83 pounds, it's manageable. And so I want to encourage you, lesson number 1 on the weight loss journey, if it's mentionable, it's manageable, meaning you can do this, and I can do this, and that we totally can do this. If it's mentionable, it's manageable, and that we can do this. I know that sometimes that there have been periods on my weight loss journey where I've doubted, or I haven't believed, or I thought everyone else can do this, I can't, and really I have just maintain if they can do it, I can do it. If they can do it, I can do it. And literally, if I can do it, you can do it. So if it's mentionable, it is manageable on your weight loss journey. And you can find the answers, right? Like I have a free keto diet meal plan in the description link below. There's tools, there's resources. I have a free macros counter. I have a whole e-courses on all things ketogenic diet and weight loss. And I don't have it. There's tons of other resources too that you can find to help you with the manageability of your weight loss journey, of how you pick and choose to do your weight loss journey. Tip number 2 that Mr. Rogers gave us, or that Fred Rogers gave us, is that he was talking in the movie, Won't You Be My Neighbor, about children dealing with their feelings. And literally on the weight loss journey for me, a huge part of this is dealing with my feelings, but not as a child, as an adult, is that I can't stuff my feelings. If I'm feeling anxious or nervous, my coping tool that worked before, food, no longer works on the weight loss journey. And in this weight loss transformation, I have had to change the way I've dealt with my feelings, that I have to feel my feelings. I can't eat over them. And I know that some of my brothers and sisters watching this video can relate. Your question of the day, by the way, is put in the comments below, what is your favorite Fred Rogers tip that you have that would be applicable for the weight loss journey? But for me, Fred Rogers talked a lot about children dealing with anger, children dealing with sadness, happiness, things like that, dealing with feelings. And it's really applicable to the weight loss journey of dealing with feelings as an adult, of being able to process them in a healthy, happy manner, even if there can be negative feelings. He talked about, and this is tip number 3, dealing with anger. And Mr. Rogers, I love Mr. Rogers, Won't You Be My Neighbor, was so sweet. And that dealing with anger and dealing with sadness. And if you feel so mad that you want to roar, take a deep breath and count to 4. Or if you feel so mad that you want to bite, what do you do with that? How do you process that in a healthful manner? And y'all, it's been years now being on this weight loss journey. You can see my 400 plus YouTube videos documenting, the whole weight loss journey, intense sadness of losing my daughter through this process, going through anger, going through a lot of feelings, how to deal with that in a healthful way, being angry. And in the movie, Mr. Rogers talked about going boom, boom, boom on a piano, of being able to express our anger. Do you pound some dough? Do you pound some clay? How do you deal with that without eating over that? And that for me has been truly one of the secrets of my weight loss journey and weight loss transformation, is being able to process food at night. I post on Instagram all the time, go to bed. Like, if I'm feeling tired, simply go to rest. I don't need to eat over that. I don't need to eat over these things. And for me, that was like a huge revelation. I didn't have that tool in my tool belt. And you may be way further and way more progressed than I was on my weight loss journey, but I had to start very simple, very basic. And that's why I love these Fred Rogers analogies and lessons that he had in his teachings, because they were so powerful, and dealing with them in a heartfelt, healthful way. So number one is anything that's mentionable or is manageable. Number two, children dealing with their feelings, being an adult dealing with my feelings. Number three, feeling the anger, feeling the sadness, feeling happy, feeling the feelings, like not stuffing the feelings, but feeling the feelings is a huge part that Mr. Rogers talked about for the weight loss journey. Tip number four is bravery. Mr. Rogers in the movie that just came out talked a lot about bravery and being brave and having courage. And weight loss takes courage. It really does. Trying something new, making changes, there can be fear involved in that. That can be scary. And how do you process that? Underlying feelings. For me, as being a rape survivor and sexually abused as a child, processing that of I'm safe, I'm not in danger anymore, and feeling unsafe through losing weight in periods of time of where I will self-sabotage, I think that that's a huge piece of this is people who are starting the weight loss journey or in the weight loss journey or in the maintenance part of the weight loss journey. It's very, very brave, very, very courageous to try something new when you are scared, when you don't feel comfortable doing it and still doing it anyway. To me, I tip my hat that that's a big deal and that Mr. Rogers talks about being brave and being courageous. Tip number five, I loved in the movie with Fred Rogers where he was talking about the gentleman in the movie was talking about he had a rough childhood with his dad, and he talked about why don't we take a minute to focus in on those who loved you. And later on, there was another clip I saw on social media where Fred Rogers was accepting an award, and he took 10 seconds out of his acceptance speech and said to the audience, let's take 10 seconds to focus in on gratitude and those who loved us and who helped us along the way. So very Mr. Rogers-esque, I'm gonna take 10 seconds, and you, the viewer, myself, we're gonna take 10 seconds to think about gratitude for those who have loved us in our life, those who have loved us. So I'm mindful of the time. We're just going to do 10 seconds to intentionally focus with gratitude on those who have loved us in our life. Let's go. It's a beautiful 10 seconds to stay in that place of gratitude. And I challenge you after this video closes out to do a full minute of gratitude, intentional focusing. Fred Rogers talked about that a lot, about his prayer time, his meditation time, his devotional time. He swam every morning, Fred Rogers did. He was a former Navy SEAL. Mr. Rogers was the coolest dude. It makes me tear up. I want to be like Mr. Rogers. I think he was one of the most inspirational people. He passed in 2003, somewhere in that ballpark. His wife, Joanne, is still alive and did go to the opening premiere of the new Mr. Rogers movie. I highly recommend this film to go see if you want to tap into some emotions or feelings. And on the weight loss journey, for me, that's certainly applicable of what do you do when you don't have food as a coping tool. And y'all, this has been years I've been on this weight loss transformation and still working on how to feel feelings and process all of this. So I hope that you found this video helpful. Go see the Mr. Rogers video. Go get my free keto diet meal plan. It's totally complimentary and hopefully as an extra tool in your tool belt to help you on your weight loss journey and with your weight loss transformation. But I am cheering you on. You can do this. And Fred Rogers gave such really helpful tips. I'm personally going to hang these up in my bathroom just to remind me simply of beautiful, helpful, tangible tips. So tip number one, anything that is mentionable is manageable. Tip number two, children dealing with their feelings, adults dealing with their feelings. Number three, feel the anger, feel the sadness, feel the happy, process it in a healthful way. Number four, you are brave and you are courageous. And number five, focus on gratitude, even if it's 10 seconds of gratitude, but intentional focus time, maybe even a minute or longer, and build up that muscle too. So I hope you guys found this helpful, and I'll see you again on our next weight loss video. Make it a powerful day, friends.